Going live. We are live. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic as usual. It's midday right now, but I've been up for 7 hours. So here we are talking about sleep, right?
Adam, I was awake at 2. I wouldn't look at the clock. I laid there and I laid there and I laid there and I was wide awake. And then I looked at the clock. It was 2:37. So I had to be up for 30 minutes or more.
hmm
And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
So you were having what's called sleep fragmentation. The insomnia advice would be that you're supposed to stand up and
Hmm.
get out of bed and move around and you know read a book.
No.
Get one of those little attachments onto the book onto the hardcover that gives you a little light there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just dwelling on your thoughts in the middle of the night. Yeah, that could be bad for sleep patterning, which is something we'll discuss.
I was thinking about this LinkedIn Live.
Of course, brain is just going all over the place thinking about it.
The trends in hotel sleep tech ruined my night's sleep.
Yeah,
Well, let's talk about the trends in hotel sleep tech.
yeah,
Um, but before we jump into sleep tech, why don't you give us a little context on where hotels are at with wellness programs?
right. So let me just give context on that context. Is I'm going to give some very short, brusque answers so that we can save more time for the meat of this discussion.
Yeah.
So, why are hotels ramping up wellness, or why do they need to? In a word, revenues. What we're seeing around the world is an increased awareness for people that want to stay healthy, and there's more access and knowledge base. And then, as one does at home, one will expect from their hotels. So, wellness is first and foremost a defensive play to maintain your rates and grow your rates. But there's a huge value add right now in this wellness economy as it is still ramping up year over year. And those are, growing ancillaries like spa or otherwise, brand differentiation, incentivizing the direct channel through packages that you don't give to third parties, generating more demand for your product and awareness, as well as increasing length of stay, and then maybe even carving out your own room type that is one of these stay well or wellness centric rooms. And then I guess, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So it's not just for hotels with spas and pools and stuff.
No, every hotel in the future will need to have a wellness component, or else the rates and the brand will be commoditized. You'll simply just be feeding inventory into distribution, and that's it.
That's amazing. That's just starting to sink in.
hmm
Um, sleep tech. So relatively new term. What? How do you define sleep tech?
Oh, okay, so yeah, we're jumping right into sleep tech. So of course, there's well tech, which is wellness technology. There's spa technology, fit tech, fitness technology, and sleep technology. And so sleep tech is fun buzzword for any sort of device, equipment, app, control system that is designed to enhance someone's sleep quality.
I've heard the term sleep hygiene.
Uh,
What is
yeah.
that?
So, sleep hygiene is the stuff you do around your sleep to get better quality sleep, or in your case, specifically to what you said last night, more consolidated sleep. So, this can be temperature, where we know we want the room to be cool. We don't want it to be hot. The body actually cools down during sleep. We want the room to be as dark as possible because light sensitivity can be a thing in terms of waking you up early or preventing sleep onset. We want it to be as quiet as possible, which has implications on the HVAC systems and noise from neighboring rooms. Wink, wink. Air quality is a thing. Better the air quality, the better you sleep. The bedding environment, microenvironment itself. So the microenvironment of the bed can come down to the linens used, the type of comforter, the mattress materials, whether your box spring actually has box springs in it. That's a thing. As well, diet and nutrition affect sleep quality and sleep hygiene, exercise, your evening routine, which is, are you in a low light environment right before you go to bed? Are you drinking alcohol directly before you bed? Are you snacking before bed? That is a huge no-no for sleep. Snacking before bed, I just got to say, that's one of the worst things you can do for your health. Sorry, I said it. Not looking at your cell phone, doing de-stressing activities. So, taking a call with China, that's an intense negotiation, and trying to fall asleep directly afterwards. Good luck. Maybe doing some stretching, things like that. But also, one of the most important things for a good night's sleep is your morning routine, where waking up and getting first light, so just early light exposure and moving around first thing, and to really trying to balance out your coffee intake so that way you're not drinking coffee at 6 p.m. You sort of taper off at noon, and then you can ride that wave, and you don't need to take a nap or anything like that. All those things ultimately affect your sleep quality.
If that's hygiene, what's architecture?
Sleep architecture, that's the more sciencey word for it, which is basically the physiological structuring of your sleep, in terms of which individual cycles you're in and how long you're in those specific cycles. So we've heard of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, which is basically when you're dreaming. But the best way to think of REM sleep is when you're moving your emotions and your daily events from your prefrontal cortex, your short-term memory, back into your hippocampus, your long-term storage center. So it's basically, while you're asleep, your brain as a hard drive is basically doing an auto backup onto storage. And there's REM sleep. There's also various phases of non-REM sleep. We can get into those specifics, but sort of beyond the scope of this. But the most important one would be slow wave sleep or deep sleep or delta wave sleep, which is really when your body goes to work on repairing itself physically and upgrading the immune system.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt for everyone to learn these things, but hoteliers don't necessarily have to take a deep dive into that world. They just need to understand that this is real. It's here,
Mhm.
and like you said at the beginning, to get that revenue, to differentiate and get that revenue, you got to have some options.
Well, I mean, not to be devil's advocate on what you just said, but this is me as a nerd speaking this stuff. All this stuff is on Google. It's
Yeah,
all being talked about by YouTube influencers that millennials and Gen Zs are watching. So if you as a hotelier don't know this stuff, then your guests do.
that's a good
And
point.
yeah, and you have to keep up with them or else you're going to fall behind.
Very good point. Yep, yep. What about some of the other trends and technologies?
Okay, so three big ones to sort of be aware about that I guess every hotelier already knows something about. So the three big ones highlighted. Number one is the wearables. So Peter Drucker, you can only manage what you measure. I guess I'm paraphrasing there. So you have either the Oura ring or the Whoop band or a bunch of others. And what these do is they allow you to track your sleep. They can measure resting heart rate variability, blood oxygenation, and sleep architecture to some degree or another, as well as to give you an overall sleep quality score. So that way you can measure over time how various points of your life are affecting your sleep, positively or negatively. So that way you can improve your sleep score. Number two, we're seeing these advanced bedding systems, which are combining new materials along with embedded electrical systems that can do things like built-in climate and moisture control and built-in air purifier systems, as well as connecting into through IoT into into any form of like a tablet control or your Whoop or something like that, or your actual climate control system. So some players there I mentioned for the wearables, Oura and Whoop. Here we have Bright, we have 8 Sleep, we have Fresh Bed. There's a bunch of other ones. Number 3, big one. So we have the beds themselves, we have the wearables. Then we also have these mattress accessories, where these are things that can be added onto a mattress or around a mattress to help augment sleep. So we're seeing grounding mats to balance the body's electrical charge. We have red light therapy mats, or we have PEMF mats. There's an acronym. So PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic frequency mats. These are things that really help to relax the body. So RLT, red light therapy, or photobiomodulation, as it's called for scientific research. The underlying methodology here is basically it's light that is hitting your capillaries in certain wavelengths to help to release a compound called nitric oxide, which then is a vasodilator, which helps you relax. There's various nuances there, but that's the brunt of it. And what I would say with something like red light therapy, RLT, is it is a very popular thing right now. There's mats you can put on the beds. There's things for your face. There's full-on beds in the spa. There's like the Juve units you can attach onto your wall. And where the conversation was 2 years ago was for the hotel would be, do you have red light therapy? And now that is, where's your red light therapy? Why don't you have red light therapy? So it's almost like the red light therapy itself is more of a defensive play than a pure value add. It's expected in spa-centric and wellness-centric hotels, and it's very easy to apply to all other hotels, particularly in a Sleeptech context. And if there was a fourth one I'd add to this in terms of interconnected to mattress accessories, is this whole idea of soundscapes and using sound to heal the body. So you have meditation apps, meditation playlists, bioacoustics, which is a fancy term for animal noises. You can combine those with various light settings like the coved or recessed lighting or circadian lighting, which is very popular. And then, of course, to plug our client here, we do work with a company here that is specializing in a new type of technology that's gravity waves. So it's a subwoofer that sits under the mattress, and then it vibrates your body to release toxins as it goes through, and that's called the waiver bed. And it's a very new, very revolutionary type of technology, and it is working through the context of something called lymphatic drainage, which is basically on a cellular level, you're vibrating the cells to unlock and release those broken down proteins or things that are in the garbage sacks in each individual cell, to help clear those things that are causing your body to be inefficient in its processes. It's pretty cool, and it's being used upsold at select hotels.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I just use a trampoline.
That works too. That does actually work for lymphatic drainage. Safety concerns notwithstanding, trampolines are a wellness technology.
I'm laughing because the trampoline is right in front of my big screen TV, and I have nightmares of bouncing into my TV. Okay, any other tech? Like, I mean, you mentioned HVAC a couple of times. I mean, that's just having the room at a certain temperature really can help you sleep. But I mean, are there anything else you'd like to add?
So yeah, HVAC, dark, cool, quiet. Circadian lighting, I mentioned that one. So, you can have the lightings where it isn't those direct overhead LEDs that are just emitting blue light and basically telling the body, hey, it's still daytime.
Yeah.
So now you can get like the Philips Hues systems where, through the app, it can be connected to then say, okay, 2 hours out from sleep, adjust to amber. And then within 45 minutes to an hour, make it purely red, and then turn off. So that way you're imitating the setting sun. And then you could do likewise with bright blue lights in case somebody is at a hotel where they don't immediately have access to get outside first thing in the morning to get first light. You can have blue lights that can imitate that. So circadian lighting. So even something as simple as interactive TV programming where you have it connected to a stretching or a yoga routine, something online that is easily and intuitively accessible. And then for your end, apps for meditation and this whole idea of journaling. So during the pandemic, we saw people remove the pads of paper by the desk and, cost saving, whatever. But journaling, getting those thoughts out of your prefrontal cortex onto the paper, that alone can help you get a good night's sleep. Other more technology centric things, journaling is I guess that's a 2,000-year-old technology. But you could look at things like shower tech, like the vitamin fused shower heads to help you get a really good night scrub right before bed and removing all that hard water that can have a minor impact, or even specific temperature controls. Like if you want a hot shower before bed or a cold shower when you wake up to help jumpstart you. And then of course there's the whole circle back to food and supplementation, which also is technically a sleep tech, particularly if you're combining it with robot delivery systems.
Yeah. Sleep, the supplements. So I started a routine of chamomile tea, magnesium. In my tea, I'll put MCT oil and honey. And then actually I have this thing here because I'm out. Is probably why I didn't. I don't know if you ever heard of.
I can't see that. It's out of focus. Just
yeah. It's basically theanine, reishi mushrooms.
Yep.
And lion's mane.
Yeah. So I mean, I would. There's some
actually does pretty good. I still wake up. See, I wake up at 4 a.m., 3:30 or 4 every morning.
Yeah.
When I take that stuff, and it's too expensive, so I'm trying to break it down. And get my individual supplements instead of this little formulated stuff. It will allow me to sleep to 4, and I might wake up, but I'm really dreamy, and I don't really wake up.
Right. So there's a lot to unpack in what you just said there. So of course, chamomile tea, awesome. Yeah. A bunch of other ones that work like peppermint, lemon myrtle, passion flower, valerian root. On the more adaptogenic side, when you're getting into the mushrooms like reishi or lion's mane, a lot of those can actually be used to increase concentration. So direct implications for sleep elongation or consolidation, up in the air, depends on the person. Similar with ashwagandha in terms of its effects on testosterone and cortisol. Magnesium, of course, the three big clusters there, you have magnesium bisglycinate, threonate, and citrate. So citrate is the workhorse. It's the cheapo one. Then you have bisglycinate, which is a little bit more expensive, but you can still find it at Costco. That's the one I use because you're also getting glycine in it and the bisglycinate. And glycine is a very, very important amino acid. And then threonate, which is the most expensive one, which has improved blood-brain barrier permeability. There's a tongue twister on you. But I mean, all these supplements, and of course you have melatonin. So the melatonin pathway is melatonin is made in your brain, a part of the brain called the pineal gland, but it is made from serotonin. Serotonin is made from a compound called 5-HTP. 5-HTP is made from a compound called L-tryptophan. So you need to have L-tryptophan in the diet. Then you need to have efficient processing of L-tryptophan into 5-HTP, and then efficient processing of 5-HTP into serotonin. Serotonin levels are, of course, affected by sugar. So having a little bit of honey at night is actually beneficial for reducing early morning cortisol levels. And then serotonin convert into melatonin. So as you can see, the supplementation, these things can get quite nuanced and complicated and very nerdy. And I've just been blah, blah, blah about it. But the overall point here with supplements is that they are supplemental. They are the stuff around the main course. The main course is, okay, so you wake up at 4 a.m. every day. Are you getting to sleep at 9:30 or 10 to set that regular rhythm? Are you getting sunlight every day? Are you exercising properly? Are you eating well? That's the main course to getting a good night's sleep. Then the supplements are, the icing on the cake. They're supplemental.
Yeah, and that's the rough thing about traveling, which makes all this very interesting for hotels,
Mm-hmm.
is that like my first night in a hotel room, I don't sleep worth a damn. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I just don't sleep well, and
Mm-hmm.
just the whole unwinding after a 4-hour flight or whatever, and you usually hit the ground, you're hungry, and then you're out for dinner with your business meeting or whatever, and it's just that first night is a mess. So anything, and also especially like you want to be performing at your best.
Mm-hmm.
Take high tech. High tech's coming up, right? That first morning of high tech. I mean, are you ready to go that first day? Are you all in, or did you have a crappy night's sleep and you're like,
Mine,
oh,
but yeah, by the time the second day of high tech rolls around, my adrenals are just shot. It's pure adrenaline and cortisol. I've yet to have a high tech where I've gotten a good night's sleep. And by the way, to everyone who's going to these trade shows, alcohol does not improve your sleep.
no,
Yeah,
you,
you may feel like you're getting to sleep and you're passing out, but in terms of that slow wave sleep, that recovery, you never get that full deep sleep. So you don't actually recover the body when you're drinking alcohol before bed.
yeah, yeah. What else on the supplement line? Like, I also take resveratrol, not for
Yes.
sleep, but daily.
Well, okay. So resveratrol is very interesting. It's a much lauded one brought to the forefront by Dr. David Sinclair. Um, very nuanced in its applications, but what we're talking about here is improving the body's ability to heal faster. And because your body heals itself the most during that deep wave sleep, the more supplements you can take that improve the efficiency of that healing, the better your sleep will actually be at its job, which is improving the body. So resveratrol is working through the sirtuin pathway. Those are genes that activate NAD, which is a compound that has been much studied, and you can get the IV drips now at select places. There's also NAD precursors like NR, NMN, and even just vitamin B3, niacin or nicotinamide. So that's one key pathway to start to upregulate is the NAD pathway. The other key one to look at is your body's master antioxidant molecule. And this is something called glutathione. And that's where I have glycine, so magnesium bisglycinate. So I'm getting magnesium, which is important for sleep, but also bisglycinate. So two glycine molecules that are latticed in there. And that is a direct precursor for glutathione production. So you have glycine, you have NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and then together you have GlyNAC. But even then, those are supplemental to things like getting lots of sulfur donors in the diet, like garlic. So eating garlic or onions can improve your glutathione production, which then means you're getting more bang for your buck at every night's sleep. And of course, yeah, there's also the liposomal glutathione shots you can get now. Liposomal means it's wrapped in fat, each individual molecule. You can get those and you can add them into the mini bar and charge $5 a piece for the trouble, like a little 10 millimeter pack.
Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling, and I don't know how hotels are taking a look at it, if they're taking a look at it at all, but it must be challenging, really.
Well, it's challenging, and of course, it's threading a needle through the haystack, but developing a plan and sort of saying, okay, well, I've mentioned a lot of teas and all that. So if we know that herbal tea is great, well, develop your own custom blend, and then you have your sleep tea, and it's like one little bag in the room for 15, 20 cents a piece. And there you go. That could be the entry point into a sleep program. And then you can look at all the technology stuff and adding it one piece at a time, and then rounding out your program quarter over quarter and slowly learning this stuff, and then also adding in healthier and healthier options in the restaurant. And it's a process.
Yeah. And you can differentiate your room types, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. We're already seeing it at select brands, and of course, the luxury end is all in on this sort of stuff in terms of deploying the high-end mattresses to differentiate certain rooms, or deploying other technology in the spa to specifically develop multi-night sleep recovery programs on site. It is the future. I could call it some specific statistics, but with 4 minutes left, I don't even need to go that far.
Yeah. Well, on the to kind of wrap us up, like, what's next? What's next for wellness and sleep tech?
Everything and everything, but I guess two things to highlight. So number one is multi-sensorial sleep experiences. So bringing together a lot of the stuff I previously mentioned. So in the room, you have the circadian lighting combined with an RLT mat that you can lay out on the bed for a little bit right before sleep as part of your sleep ritual routine, and then combined with the vibration therapy like the gravity waves waiver bed that I mentioned. And then possibly you can have like a headset to get binaural beats in the corner to initiate some delta waves and induce sleep on your half. So that's number one I'd mention, which is multisensorial sleep experiences. And then number two that's coming, which is a whole other seminar, is peptides. And yeah, so right now, Ozempic is the big one there. Don't want to get into that. I have my qualms with that one, but that's a whole other diatribe. The one I would mention to look up with regards to sleep elongation, like you're having, or reducing fragmented sleep, is something called DSIP, which is Delta Sleep Inducing Peptide. And yeah, DSIP, I'll leave it at that.
Interesting. You should bring that up, because yesterday was the first. My son's got me on BPC 157, and
Okay.
first dose was yesterday. And I was thinking to myself, surely that didn't that didn't hurt my sleep. I mean, that doesn't make sense. So
you never know. I mean, with supplements, each person is a person. Is it? So there's bio individuality to all of these things, and with any supplement, it's like you don't want to go from 0 to 100. So add things in slowly, safely. That way you can be your N of one, your own scientific study on what works for your body and what is really helping you get the best sleep. To close on a finishing thought, and getting back to the whole idea of, as one does at home, one will expect at hotels, is a thought that's been put out by Brian Johnson, who's the sort of, human lab rat for longevity and reversing physical aging. And he poses the question, what happens when you treat sleep like an important meeting? And so if we know that sleep is one of the most important things you do to improve your health and is the foundation for longevity and wellness and well-being, then you don't show up late for, a job interview or meeting with a client. So why do you show up late for sleep? So if your sleep time is 10 p.m., it should be 10 p.m. every single night of the day, and you should be getting ready with your routine at the latest at 9:30. So now you think, okay, how does that affect hotels in terms of how you plan multi-day meetings and events, and when you're expecting your busiest times to be at the restaurant, or when people are going to be ordering alcoholic beverages, knowing that a aperitivo at 9:15 p.m. is going to inhibit deep wave sleep recovery. So it's a very critical question to think going forward 20, 30 years out, treating sleep like it's your most important meeting of the day.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of disappointment around the industry that you didn't bring up waterbeds.
Ooh,
Water beds aren't coming back.
well, what is this, 1975? Very bad for your back. I have a Tempur-Pedic mattress that is firm. I would recommend a firm mattress for everyone. Way better for your back and for recovery than a waterbed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had to throw that out.
Yeah.
It was big in the 80s, man.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
Right.
All right, man. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Jason.